مثل ميديا بالنار تكويني. شكرا لأصحابكم. الآن أقدم لكم الدكتور خالد شاقرة ليلقي كلمته باللغة الإنجليزية، وأحب أن ننوه أنه بعد ما يتكلم الدكتور شاقرة ويتكلم سعادة السفير سيكون هناك مجال للأسئلة والأجوبة. نرجو أن تكون الأسئلة والأجوبة مقتضبة وفي ميكروفون في القاعة لمن يريد أن يسأل. إذا قد ورد السؤال من شخص قبل ذلك فممكن ينسحب، ولا نريد الأسئلة أن تطول أكثر من 30 ثانية أو 35 أو 45 ثانية، لأنه إذا 50 نفر أخذوا من دقيقة معناته 50 دقيقة، ولهذا ضيعنا الوقت. فنرجو أن تكون أسئلتكم مقتضبة، وسيرد السفير على أي سؤال تسألونه. وشكرا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In the history of the Yemeni community, from the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, we've never had someone acknowledge the Yemeni community. For the first time, the ambassador, our ambassador to Yemen, is here, and we appreciate the fact he is acknowledged in this community. Mr. Ambassador, the people that you see here, a reflection of about 50,000 Yemeni American in southeastern Michigan. We are law-abiding citizens. We are the doctors. We are the engineers. We are the pharmacists. We are the school teachers. We are a random of that population. We are Americans, and we are Yemenis. We are Americans. We will defend America. We have our own kids in the U.S. military, and we're proud of it. We are against any extremism from any side. And Mr. Ambassador, since you took position in September of 2010, we have followed the stand that you have taken and our administration have taken. Number one, the unity of Yemen. We will never be separated again, and the Yemeni people will never accept separation. I am a testimony to you. In 1970, my family lived in the borderline between the Old South and the Old North. Our families, I saw family members being killed. And I saw friends being killed, until today our homes are destroyed. We cannot open the chances of separation because each province will want to be its own country. But at the same time, we do not give a green light to any government official who is corrupt. Corruption must end. Poverty in Yemen is high. Unemployment is over 50%. We want our administration to learn from the past that military is not the only solution. Economic development, job opportunities, making sure that Yemen gets into GCC. This is how we can fight. This is how we can fight. We can fight discrimination and extremism. We also, you see a lot of people with papers. This is a reflection of what's going on in Sana'a Embassy. We ask you to appoint someone so they can look at each of these cases. We are trying to bring our families, and it should not take 10, 15, and 20 years for them to come here. We are here and we want them to come here to help our families, and we have rights as U.S. citizens. We thank you for being here, and God bless you. And now, please welcome David Staples, who will go ahead and introduce the ambassador.
Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. My name is David Staples. I'm a public affairs officer with the State Department. I'd like to read a short bio of the ambassador to introduce him. Ambassador Firestein was sworn in as ambassador to Yemen on September 2010. Prior to this appointment, he was the Deputy Chief of Mission in Islamabad, Pakistan. Ambassador Firestein is a specialist in the Near East and South Asian affairs. He entered the Foreign Service in 1975. He has served in Islamabad, Tunis, Riyadh, Peshawar, Muscat, Jerusalem, Beirut, and Islamabad. In Washington, D.C., at the State Department headquarters, he has served in the Counterterrorism Office, as Desk Officer for Nepal, Pakistan, Egypt, as Deputy Director of the Arabian Peninsula Affairs Office, and as Director of the Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh Office. He has also served as Director for the Bureau of Near East Affairs Regional Affairs Office. He is an expert in Near East and South Asian affairs. Ambassador Feuerstein holds a bachelor's degree in philosophy from Point Park University and a master's in international relations from Duquesne University. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction, and thank you all for coming out on what seems, at least to me, to be a rather cold and unpleasant evening. But do want to thank you and to take an opportunity to meet with this community. This, I'm told, is the first time that a sitting American ambassador has come to Dearborn to meet with this community, to talk to you about Yemen and U.S.-Yemeni relations. I hope that it's the first of many opportunities that we'll have to talk together. I want to thank our colleagues and friends for their warm introductions. I also want to thank Mr. Faizan Al-Jahmi for joining us here this evening, and to congratulate him on his appointment as the honorary Yemeni consul general. I thought that it would be a good opportunity to talk to you a little bit about how we in the Obama administration are trying to develop the relationship between our two countries, and what we anticipate will be the future direction of this relationship that is so important to both of our countries. I arrived in Sana'a at the end of September, so I have just completed about 4 months there. I've had an opportunity to travel a little bit outside of Sana'a, to Taz, to Umran, to Aden, and look forward over the coming months when I return to Yemen to have an opportunity to visit many other places in the country. I told President Saleh that my objective is to visit each of the governorates before I complete my tenure there. So we have our work cut out for us. But a good place, I think, to start the discussion tonight is to recount for you very briefly the visit to Yemen by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton about 10 days ago. This was the first visit by a U.S. sitting Secretary of State since Secretary Baker visited in November of 1990. But that visit was in connection with the conflict in the Persian Gulf, the Iraqi occupation of Kuwait, and was a very brief visit. Vice President Cheney also visited briefly in 2002. But in my view, Secretary Clinton's visit is the first time, certainly in our memory and perhaps ever, that a Secretary of State visited Yemen and took the opportunity not only to speak to the senior leadership in the country, but also to reach out beyond that leadership to make contact with some of the political opposition party leaders, and also to meet with and speak to a number of people from a broad cross-section of Yemeni society, including business, parliamentarians, civil society, and students and academics. The Secretary had two objectives in her visit. One, of course, was to discuss with President Saleh and the others the state of U.S.-Yemeni cooperation in the fight against violent extremism and the effort to counter terrorism and terrorist organizations. She made the point that cooperation in this area is good, but of course we hope as we go forward into the future that that cooperation will become broader and stronger.